Well, thank you very much for joining us on the news review belt of the show. Mama V, good morning.
Yeah, hi, Ben. Good morning. How are you?
I'm well. How was your weekend?
It was lovely.
What made it lovely?
Oh, I spent quite a bit of time with the boys. We stepped out a bit, so yeah, some
They usually
good family
say
time.
Boys are troublesome. I don't know whether they didn't give you a torrid time, but I guess at the same time you enjoy it when they are, harassing you in a way.
Just say that my boys know they're right, so it's usually like a legal thing.
Right.
With them.
Right.
Yeah.
Wait, you've taken the law home?
No, I haven't. You will be surprised the kind of conversations that they make. The last time it was an issue with, so there's a guy who wants to be the head boy in their school, and he goes around the classes to campaign. And here's my 7-year-old who comes out and says that the guy who wants to be the head boy says, oh, he's going to bring PS4 and set it up so that they can play in the school. Then I just said, that's not true.
Agenda.
Then his brother said, that's politics. And I said, you are judging my decision. Why are you judging my decision? So yeah, that's how it is like when you're with those boys.
Wow.
He says, why don't you leave me so I can figure it out myself? Why are you making the decision for me? He was so upset with us. How would the school allow a head boy to set up this kind of system in the school so the boys can play game?
That's interesting.
So, yeah.
And it tells you, it's surprising the way children of today think. Back then, at their ages, I don't know whether we're thinking along the same lines, but today you meet a 2-year-old and the way they think. Do you ever watch, the Cabs family on Facebook and other, social media platforms? There's this little girl, a 2-year-old. It will amaze you the sort of songs she knows and the things she can do. It's anyway.
That also brings into, and let me just mention it, the kind of promises that the young people make when they want to be either head boy or head girl in the
politicians.
The last time one went around the classes with a pizza. Promise that if you want, and I all these things.
That's a good one.
The children will make the decision based on what they've come to tell them in the classroom. Yeah.
There's this saying, the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. The way to getting votes is through pizza.
Yeah.
Right.
The school children are also learning it. So politics is everywhere, I guess.
So right before we dig into the papers, Mama, I just want to take a minute to highlight this. Yesterday was International Day of Forests. Important, especially looking at how we're losing our own forests to galamsey and the rest. And today
water
is World Water Day. Do you have water running through your tap? It's a question I want to ask you. Have you ever considered that at some point we could very well get to the point where we import water into our own country, looking at what we're doing to our water bodies? Mama, there are millions of people, even in urban Accra. And I am an example. I am in a very urban location in some sort of residential area. Guess what? I don't have water.
You don't have
water hasn't flowed through my taps for close to a year.
Yeah. The fact is that Ghana Water is unable to produce for every citizen of this country to get water. The fact also is that if you look at the natural resources we have, we could provide, we could get water in abundance. Unfortunately, we've destroyed most of them. Yep. So it's sad that
and the ones that are left,
we could actually get water. Naturally, we could get enough water, but we've destroyed it. So Ghana Water has to ration because they can't give everybody water at the same time. That's a fact.
You remember the point where they were telling us that some of the things we're seeing and the delays, because they now have to treat water a lot more.
Yeah.
Because they are getting polluted water and the treatment process is a lot more. We have the desalination bit, there as well, whatever the charge is. But it's important that on a day like this, we take a look at this. Only yesterday, we saw the story, the Upper West Regional Hospital. Erratic water supply. It is affecting an entire regional hospital. That's how bad it is.
Unfortunately, sometimes the people who spearhead, who lead the distraction are persons who think that they have everything at home. So they have a borehole, they have this. They have a lot of money because of galamsey, so they have a lot of money, but they don't think about the rest of us. They don't even think about the rest of their families. And you think that if if you were to have an emergency, would they treat you in your house where you have everything, or they will carry you to a certain facility that you don't have control over? So yeah, a lot of selfish interest. That's why we're here on a day like this, talking about the fact that our natural water bodies could give us enough, plenty water. Look at the beautiful, help me. I went to this Kwabing. There's this fantastic scenery where we are about to destroy as well. It will come up, it will come up, it will come up. Etiwa, that's the Etiwa forest.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Our very own Etiwa.
Yeah. The first time I went, I fell in love with the place. Oh, God.
I've never been to Etiwa, into the forest proper, but the images I have seen are just breathtaking.
Yeah.
And I ask myself, on any level, I'm not trying to denigrate our leaders and their thinking when it comes to developing the country, but you look at all of these, the pros and cons, even the environmentalists, not just in Ghana, across the world, saying, conserve this, because guess what? The lungs of the world are in the different forests we have. That's why, was it last year, when the Amazon was on fire, everybody was concerned. If we destroy all of these, forests and water bodies, we're practically dead.
Absolutely.
That's what it means. Mama, let's check out this.
Okay, the Ghanaian Times newspaper is what I'll start with. On the front page, Domalovo simply won't go away because of that long letter, if you like, from the presidency. So he's brought the conversation back. Former Auditor General's exit from office. Domalovo was retired lawfully. Office of the President responds to CSO groups. Was it necessary? 20-something. The Achimota School and admission of Rastafarian saga include children's rights and schools governing code. CRI recommends to authorities. And Ghana targets 42 million COVID-19 vaccine doses to immunize 20 million Ghanaians, according to the Ghana Health Service Director, Dr. Kumar Boaji. NRSA, that's the National Road Safety Authority, to ban one driver for long-distance buses effective April 1. On page 3, 3 persons were burnt to death when their vehicle on which they were traveling crashed into a 20-footer container and caught fire on the Spintex Road in Accra on Saturday. The 2 persons, including the driver who suffered various injuries and critical condition, were rushed to the Lekma Hospital for treatment. The 5 who were on board the unregistered Mercedes-Benz salon car ignored warning signal from police personnel to stop and subsequently crashed into the container. I saw a ding. Imagine. There's also another crime story here. The Accra Regional Police Command has commenced investigation into a suspected murder of a man at a hotel at Caprice near the Kwame Nkrumah Circle here in Accra. He's 30. They have not been able to identify him, but they found him, they say, in a partial state of decomposition with knife wounds on the neck, right chest, right rib, and the upper lip. Details of that on page 3. And there's a 57-year-old man, Raybon Evans Anyadi, who allegedly pushed his girlfriend out of his speeding car to avoid paying her back a debt he owed her. He was on Friday arrested by the police in the Vault region. He was said to have carried out the act on Saturday, March 13 at about 4 p.m. at a spot on the Kwetoi Ho Road. So details of that as well. The victim is 40-year-old Elizabeth.
Usually with these stories, it is a man perpetrating it against a woman. I don't know whether because you can't punitive measures, but when you go, you also don't want to create a system which is too hard when it comes to the law. But we're seeing too many of these. Maybe tightening some laws or penalties might serve as a deterrent, because the law has its own roles it plays to deter and all of that. So there's
a bit of background also to the story.
Speeding car, you're pushing her out. You want to kill her.
They've actually been lovers for some 14 years. And the man is also a politician who contested in the parliamentary elections. This is the party one. And lost. But he had borrowed some 2,000 Ghana cedis from her, so he could use for his campaign. Promised to pay back, but he didn't. So on this very day when this incident happened, she had gone to him to ask for her 2,000 Ghana cedis. On the back page, Accra City. Oh, Eradi. Still, we love our hearts of oak. We love our hearts of oak. And listen, as I posted my hearts picture yesterday, you don't even have to mention Kotoko and they bring themselves. Like lots of people commented.
Actually, the reason is because we stand out. We stand out. We don't need to be.
I got a lot of love even from the streets right here in front of our office in Kokomlimli on Friday with the taxi drivers. Everybody, well, those who are Hearts fans.
So what were they saying?
Honking and giving me masters.
Okay.
Phobia. So listen, we may have lost, but we still say never say die. Yeah.
But this was Hearts of Lions,
Massa.
No, that was Hearts of Lions.
Oh, so this is not Hearts of Oak, right?
I was just waiting to rub it in. I was waiting just to pause for effect and then put it back for you.
So we didn't lose. Oh, my God.
At least not to Accra City. Anyway. All right, so let me get into the Daily Graphic newspaper. St. Augustine's College, commemorates 91st anniversary. Green for no. To all our.
I'm surprised that was your first headline.
Well, it is up here. It's the very first one. I can't avoid it. And Palmer Buckle asks students to prepare for the world. Then there's Justice for All program. 830 remand prisoners discharged. 171 convicted. That's on page 16. Let me just take a quick look at that. It's something I'm passionate about. And it says 830 remand prisoners were discharged between 2007 and 2019 under the Justice for All program. This figure represents 18.72% of the 4,435 remand prisoners who appeared before the court sittings, which were held in the Akuse Mill Prison, Secondary Central Prison, and the Kofridia local prisons. It goes on to give statistics, but if you know what it is, the Ghana Prison Service, according to them, 1,571 prisoners were granted bail, while 171 of them were convicted. But you look at the space to prisoner ratio, and you know that you see that we ought to do a lot more in that respect. But the banner headline, COVID-19 levy not for accrued bails. And this is interesting because it has us written all over some of what the information minister is saying. The COVID-19 levy contained in the 2021 budget statement and economic policy of government has nothing to do with settling bills accrued from the provision of free water and electricity, the Minister of Information, Mr. Kojo Nkrumah, has said. I listened to him, though, on this very platform, interact with some of our colleagues and certain things that came up. And even this bit about 1.7 billion Ghana cedis that the government had spent, and the Ministry of Finance explaining away what the purported reality is. You can grab a copy of that paper, but basically I'm asking, so if we're not paying for COVID-19, the water and the electricity, so to speak, and you say the first part of the recovery program seeks to bring the economy back. You're saying it is critical to restore debt sustainability and a strong macro foundation to propel our medium-term and future growth agenda. And you're telling us all to make sacrifices. I don't know whether it doesn't still feed into the same thing, but we'll take it as has been said. So that's on page 3. When you go to page 5, I always like to do some international stories. Mourners line Tanzania streets at ex-President Magufuli's funeral. My only problem, Mama V, I see practically nobody in masks. So the thousands have lined, they are paying their respects, but practically nobody in masks. On Friday it was, right? We're talking about world...
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say the man himself, the man himself didn't believe in that. He wanted them to pray, so maybe, prayer would
try
work.
Herbal remedies. Not to denigrate herbal remedies. I mean, World Down Syndrome Awareness Day. There's a very interesting story there, Mama. On Friday, you were interacting with some
Debbie and Agnes, Toda, and then Kofi, I shared when his mother was helping him read. I actually reflected a lot on that conversation. It really got to me. So I wrote a piece, and hopefully my online will publish it today. Yeah. I just couldn't help it. I mean, I played back the conversation to myself and I thought, ooh, somebody must read this. And I wanted to celebrate Debbie, Agnes, and I guess Toda and Kofi as well.
So that story in the Daily Graphic as well, you might want to check it out. In the middle spread, resilience, recovery, building back better. On the back page, ENI partners support Kolebu others with medical equipment. And so that is basically it for the Daily Graphic newspaper.
Let's do the Finder, front page of the Finder. Government keen on breaking 8-year tenure jinx, according to Information Minister Kojopo Nkrumah. Those quoting 1.7 billion Ghana cedis as total COVID-19 expenditure misread the budget, according to government. Akufo-Addo rejects accusations that he targeted Domolovo. Bank of Ghana revoked UniCredit's license lawfully. Court dismisses entire case as being without merit. CBG supports KNUST needy students and Bremang SDA Hospital. So these are the headlines, at least on the front page of the Finder newspaper today.
The Ghanaian publisher now, Adjwasafo storms APAM with a team of health professionals. We all know what happened there recently. Those young folk who drowned. May their souls rest in perfect peace. Domelevo's allegiance was to Mahama, not Ghana. Akufo-Addo replies CSOs in that tersely worded piece. But even on Saturday, I should say, some of these CSOs, I think I heard Kofi Bentil and co, I heard Manasseh Azuri Awene, talking about the stance of the CSOs, and it appears they are not budging. And then there is the court end of things, some things they expected the court to have done to maybe even circumvent where we've got to, but it's a long story. Should time suffice, I would get into a bit of that. SAC Ablikuma North MCE Youth Group tells Akufo-Addo, and government committed to break EIU's expectations. That's according to the Information Minister. So that's it for the Ghanaian publisher newspaper.
Let's do the Daily Dispatch front page. Accidents in January and February 2021. Paper is urging you to read. They picked that story from our online portal, myjournline.com. 9 persons were killed every day in Ghana. So a total of 517 persons died through road accident between January and February this year, according to the Ghana Police Service. This is a significant increase in the 393 cases recorded in the same period last year. In all, 2,560 road accident cases have been reported between these past 2 months, involving 1,581 commercial vehicles, 941 motorcycles, and 2,766 pedestrians have been knocked down. Out of the total figure of road deaths recorded in the past months, Ashanti region recorded the highest with 1,008 deaths, followed by Eastern region with 91 deaths. Greater Accra region with 89. Northeast region recorded the lowest number of deaths with 2. Hey, Ghana.
And when you look at it, Ashanti on top, and then I think, is it Central? That's next, before the Greater Accra region.
It is Eastern.
Eastern.
Yes.
So Ashanti, Eastern,
and then Greater Accra. These are human lives, eh? Human lives. All right, I guess that's the story that I want to highlight. Yeah.
The Daily Searchlight now. Domelevo was never my target. Do you remember that song? R2B's featuring Sarkodie.
R2B.
Ona share hono. Mena micro no. Domelevo was never my target. President Akufo-Addo says so. Akufo-Addo has built more roads than any Ghanaian president. Amoakwata, the sector minister there. EIU expected 8-year power swing will be broken, according to Info Minister Nkrumah. That's it with the Daily Searchlight newspaper.
Let's do the Daily Guide newspaper next on the front page. Dufour Amoabe want banks back. Nana blast Domolovo CSO's mischief. EIU tips NDC 2024 rules out Mahama. 3 grabbed for stealing COVID-19 vaccines. Agenda destroy Baumia exposed. In the center spread, many pay last respect to Bob Peso and the remains of award-winning photographer Bob Pessel was over the weekend laid to rest. Very heartbreaking scenes captured by the newspaper today. A friend sent me, and this was on Saturday, right? I was just chatting with a friend yesterday, and he said he wasn't doing so well, and he was just saying Bob Pessel's funeral was yesterday, which was on Saturday, and he was feeling a bit morose. He was talking about it was unbelievable that he was gone, still very much unbelievable. So
I suppose in these times especially, we've had a lot of those hit us. People people you encountered, people you loved now becoming statistics.
Yeah.
And
he says, difficult to process how someone so vibrant could be taken away so early. Yeah.
Well, sometimes that's what happens. I'm not saying it's, but some of the greatest people also lived very short lives. You can never understand this life. I mean, you never know who's next. You can be smiling, laughing, and the next minute
absolutely.
you're gone.
We pray for strength for his wife.
Yeah.
And the children. He had such a very young family. And we hope that friends and family will not forget them. Now that he's been buried, they would always remember his family and be there for them.
And it's a very important point you make. Sometimes we're so quick to forget.
Yeah.
Economy Times, Bank of Ghana to hold policy rate at 14.5, 2021 budget approved by majority votes, I should say, 3 of them. And there was that instance of, people rushing into Parliament to, in the dying embers to cast their vote. And
Drama.
The eyes have it. You see, this one, it must go to a head count.
Yeah.
We don't go agree.
Parliament is getting interesting.
Take or pay is not the cause of energy debt. Focus on ECG efficiencies, GNPC official. And let me just wrap up with more business news from the Business and Financial Times. Inflation, rising debt, pandemic give Bank of Ghana hard time on policy rates. That's according to some analysts. With new toll rates, government hopes to attract private capital to develop roads. Ayo. That's it for me. Any story you'd like to get into?
No. Waiting for my John line.
All right, so it's we have about a 4 minutes cushion. Let me see whether I can get into some stories here. And tied into World Water Day and on the back of International Day of Forests yesterday, I'll do the story on page 24. Let's prioritize issues of climate change. Now, the minority leader, Mr. Haruna Idrisu, has called for the prioritization of policies on climate change in the nation's development agenda. Quoting him, "We are not doing enough as a country by not allocating enough resources to support the containment of climate change." End of quote, he said. Mr. Idrisu, the National Democratic Congress Member of Parliament for Tamale South, made the call at the closing ceremony of a 2-day conference on climate change and sustainable employment creation in Tamale, the northern regional capital, last Saturday. So more issues to look at, especially as we enter this belt of the 21st century and moving forward. Some issues that we must avert our attention to critically, because like it or not, we're going to face the challenges, and those to come after us will continue to face them. Anyway, Mama, I guess we can now go on myjoyonline.com. But before we do so, there's a birthday message that if I don't do, I'll get killed for. So this one is from the Addo and Chinnery families. Addo and Chinnery families wishing a very happy birthday to Grandma Fanny. She is 83 years old today.
Hooray.
83. Sometimes when you see these things, hey, it's in the
You want to get to 83 that?
Oh, I want to be a shade over 100. My grandmother was 108.
Wow.
So I just want to cross. I want to cross over.
Oh, okay.
Round up a century.
You have a long way to go.
But live well and be healthy.
Take your time and enjoy this one, eh?
So Addo and Chinnery families wishing you, Grandma Fanny, you're 83 today. God richly bless you. Happy birthday. All right, let's do myjoyonline.com. We have some 2 minutes to do that.
Well, COVID-19 health levy not to recover cost of 2020 water and electricity freebies, according to Kojopo Nkrumah. So, some people say, oh, my tricky. Now they want to take the money back. Kojo was doing some explanation. And also part of that press conference, there was also government giving updates on alleged thefts of vaccines and the new COVID-19 variant. COVID-19 deaths, we know, we've gone up to 713 active cases. Thank God, keeps dropping. We're now below 4,000 or even 3. Yeah, this is 3,343. Here's a story that's still very much developing. Fidel Asumabanda arrested for breaking into father's house. And if you read the story, it will tell you how this UK-based son of Asumabanda, CEO of Amtrak, remember, is trying to get access to his father, and it's not been possible. So this house where he tried to break into with about 20 people, according to the story, is a place where his father lives with the stepmother. And according to him, stepmother is not allowing him to see his father, citing health reasons and the fact that his father is not in the state to meet visitors. He was quite upset, not happy about that.
There's even been talk, so to speak, about the man being missing in a way, because tied to that, you don't even get to see him.
So this is the drama that unfolded. And they broke into the house, but they couldn't, or into the wall, if you like, but they couldn't get into the house proper. Police is now dealing with that matter. There are plenty other stories, including the Ghana Education Service directing Achimota School to admit 2 students with dreadlocks. That issue, we know. Some people are for, against. I still insist the school shouldn't have allowed it to come to this level where it's become a national conversation where GES is given directions. Because you see, sometimes you have to deal with it quietly and try and reach a compromise, so you don't
rather than blow
things out of proportion.
Now, did you see that story though of one Felix Galley? That's from about 2 years ago.
Is it St. Augustine's College? No,
I think it was either Joje or something like that. But that's from, 2 years ago.
Okay, supposedly. I was talking about another person who went to, I think, St. Augustine's College, and that story was shared.
Well, a lot more to talk about. Thank you for staying with us in the course of the news review. It's time now for sports, and that's next. We take a bit of a pause here, and we come back with sports. Do stay.